So you're wanting to hike Zion, but you don't know quite where to start. Well, Enneagram Travels has your back. First thing you need to do is determine the fitness levels of everyone in your hiking group, just to ensure that everyone has a good time. Our group are experienced hikers with hikes up to 16 miles, so we are good to take on just about anything. The Narrows, or more formally, the Narrows of the North Fork of the Virgin River, have become one of the most famous hikes in the world, and for good reason. It's Zion's hallmark hike. For beginner and intermediate hikers, it can be quite a challenging adventures. Fit, experienced hikers will be wowed by the soaring sandstone walls and the novelty of walking in the Virgin River for miles at a time. Whether done as an overnight through hike, from top down, as a day hike, or from bottom up, the Zion Narrows hike is a classic that should not be missed. First, let's talk about gear for the hike. The time of year you plan to go will determine what you need. We hiked in September, so we needed hiking poles, neoprene socks, and canyoning shoes. In addition, we brought plenty of water and lunch. Hiking gear can be rented through Zion Outfitters in nearby Springdale. In terms of what to wear, I would suggest a fast-drying fabric as you can get wet on the hike. At times, the water gets chest deep. Cotton will retain water and make you a little chilly while you're hiking. Finally, we recommend putting everything you don't want to get wet into a dry bag. I recommend buying them just for any general camping trip, however, they can be rented at Zion Outfitters in Springdale. Permits are not required for a day hike from the bottom, which is what we did. In order to get to the trail, you will ride the Zion shuttle to the last stop, where you will get on your way by hiking on a paved path for a short distance, which takes you all the way to the Virgin River. Remember that how far you hike in is the distance you will have to hike out. Be aware of the shuttle schedule, as you do not want to risk missing the last one back to the visitor center. It's a long walk back. The Narrows is truly a fantastic hike, and I would recommend it being on the agenda for anyone who chooses to visit Zion. Next on our list of hiking was the Watchman Trail, which is a great little 3-mile round trip near the Watchman campground. This trail is often overlooked by Zion visitors, whose eyes are glued to the more famous attractions of the park, such as Angel Landing and the Narrows. Tourists will drive by without even realizing that Watchman overlooks the entire Springdale area, and that trailhead to the mountains overlook is just over half a mile away from the south entrance of the park, making it very convenient. We visited Zion in September, and it was still very hot. This hike in particular was very hot, as it is completely exposed and there's very little, if any, shade at all, so please make sure to bring plenty of water. The trail does not actually climb the heights of the Watchman Spire itself. However, it is not an overly long hike, and you climb less than 400 feet in elevation, so this trail is great for a Zion novice or veteran. We did this hike as part of a twofer. We hiked this in the late morning so we could catch a lunch with a view before descending. We picked another hike that I'll speak about next in the evening to catch the sunset. While the views of this hike are very pretty, it is the least scenic trail in all of the park. For the second hike of the day, we chose Canyon Overlook for a great sunset hike. The hike is an easy 1-mile round trip. However, it does have several exposed areas, so it's important to still be very careful. It is also important to note that you aren't watching the sunset below the horizon, and instead set behind a mountain. However, it is still well worth it. You need a car to get to the trailhead, which is reached by following Highway 9 to the east entrance of the Mount Carmel Tunnel, directly below the East Temple Saddle. There's a parking area on the south side of the road, and the trailhead is across the street on the north side of the road. The trailhead is initiated by a collection of stone steps that ascend the stone ridge directly above the north side of the road, across the street from the parking lot. The trail passes through shaded caves with ferns and trees and over bare slick rock, wandering its way to the edge of the impressive cliff that makes up the Overlook. The expanse of Zion Canyon is open before the Overlook, with these monumental formations visible on either side of the canyon. The switchbacks below to the west end the Mount Carmel Tunnel, West Temple, and the Towers of the Virgins, and the streaked wall and the beehives all make up part of this tremendous view. This hike should be doable for just about anyone in your group, unless mobility is an issue. Be sure to be mindful of young children due to the exposure. We highly recommend this trail if you're planning to visit Zion in the future. And if you've been to Zion and you missed out on this hike, well, that just means you have to go back. West Rim Trail was arguably our favorite hike in all of Zion National Park. It allows you a unique opportunity to see the park in a way a lot of people never will due to the fitness level that is required for the hike. I highlight this because the trail is a 17-mile beast with not only 3,100 feet in descent, but another 1,500 feet of climbing at the mid portion of the hike. It cannot be underestimated the strain on different muscles hiking downhill takes when compared to uphill. This hike is not for the faint of heart because once you're out there, your only choice is to finish. This beautiful hike takes months of planning as it requires booking a private shuttle to the trailhead at Lava Point as well as time to get in peak physical condition. We chose Red Rock Shuttle, who picked us up at the visitor center at 6:30 a.m. on the day of the hike. The hike takes 9 to 12 miles on average, so the early bird always gets the worm. In terms of what to pack, be sure to bring plenty of water as you will drink it all. It is a good idea to bring 1 liter of water for every 2 hours of hiking. Due to the length of this hike, it is important that you bring high calorie and high salt content food to replenish what you will lose when hiking. A first aid kit is a must since you will need to prepare for the unexpected the best you can. A trail map is also a good idea as you will have no cell service and will likely be the only ones on the trail for the majority, so no asking for directions. Finally, bring your camera and GoPro because you won't want to miss out on reflecting on this hike years down the road. The hike starts off on a plateau through a forest section for about 7 miles, which reminded us a lot of Kentucky. This is a fairly easy part of the hike, and the scenic views are very rare. However, that is truly in the eye of the beholder, as we found it beautiful. The relatively slow decline ends at Potato Hollow, which consists of 2 climbs spaced out over the next 2 miles. Between the climb is a meadow that reminded me from the scene of Gladiator in which Russell Crowe walked through the wheat fields. The views really start to change here, and wow, wow, wow. After the second climb, the trail splits. For the best views, remain on the West Rim Trail. The descent happens very quickly as you walk down the steep trails carved right out of the side of a white cliff. At the bottom, you get the pleasure of walking over rocky formations that go on for miles. Soon after this, you head upwards again, which is when Angel's Landing comes into view. We didn't add this to our day because the chain link section was closed due to COVID. Honestly, even without Corona, I wasn't sure if we had the fuel in the tank left to do it. From Scout Lookout, it is 2.5 miles downhill to the end of the trail, which takes you down massive descent through Walter's Wiggle Switchback. Our feet were very beat up after this hike, and we needed a day or two to physically recover from it, but I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world. It was such an amazing gift to see Zion from that perspective, as I know not everyone is capable of this hike. Well, there you have it, an overview of some of the best hikes in Zion. Today we talked about the Narrows, Watchman Trail, Canyon Overlook Trail, as well as the West Rim Trail. We did not review Angel's Landing as we did not do the hike on the trip. I look forward to hearing more about your trip, and I hope you have a great time. See you soon, travelers.